Hi, this is Michael Weeks, and I'm going to tackle the argument analogy that you should have be required to have a license to raise and/or have kids. In Chapter 7, page 48 of the Nutshell book, Singer says that if you agree with this moral assessment over here, you should apply similar reasoning and reach a similar conclusion over there. This argument analogy has painted a picture for us of having a driver's license and the reasons you have to have a driver's license to make sure you are fit to drive the roads. I have a driver's license, so therefore I am able to get in a vehicle and drive and go anywhere I please and I see fit because I went through a driver's ed course and I took a driver's assessment test to get my driver's license, so therefore I'm fit to have a driver's license. Now, according to the argument analogy, this could also be applied to uh, having a kid. So, therefore, in order for you to be fit to have a kid, you should go through basically the same steps of getting a driver's license. You should have to take an assessment, have to do training, and go through all this in order to determine if you are fit to raise a child. And if you are not fit to raise a child, then you will be given, this is funny, birth control, uh, or whatever means necessary to make you sterile, where you cannot have children because you're not seen fit to have a child. And if you have a child accidentally without a license, this child automatically becomes a warden of the state. So in chapter 6, it gives a great example of using the scale of a negative 10 to a positive 10 method to rate if this is something we should do. So Calvinism would suggest that how a person raises their kids is none of my business. And let's say that's a plus 7. Utilitarianism would suggest that the well-being of the kids and nothing else matters. But the well-being of children is very subjective. Uh, the way I was raised, I didn't grow up poor, but I didn't grow up rich. But a rich person could look at the way I was raised and say that my parents were unfit parents because I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. So based on the subjectiveness of this topic, I'm going to say utilitarianism in this instance would be a 0. Feminist care ethics would say that we're invading people's rights by deciding how fit they are to raise kids and determining their ability to have kids. And we wouldn't want that for someone close to us. So care ethics, this will be a big no-no, and we're gonna say that's a negative 7. And virtue ethics suggests that it's better to have a good parent than a bad parent. Uh, so based off my analysis and my scale that I put, Cantonism would be best for this because at the end of the day, when it comes to raising kids, that's a very subjective matter. And making sure people had a license to raise kids wouldn't be uh, a very ethical way of doing things, uh, ethnically or financially, because if people have a license to have raise kids and uh, the rate of pregnancy is very high outside of marriage and unplagued pregnancies, uh, the amount of kids we have in the system would probably quadruple, if not more. So this is probably not a good idea. So on chapter 8, page 54, it says, our gut plays a respected role in philosophical ethics. And while philosophers are best known for using their minds, we actually need our hearts and minds to work together. So, while the idea of having a license to raise a child seems great, because there are parents out there that are unfit to have a kid, your gut tells you this is not a good idea and that would not work. And that's where, common sense comes into play. Something like this does not seem very reasonable, and therefore your gut tells you you probably shouldn't make someone have a license to raise a kid, seeing that there are also other means in place to make sure that kids are taken care of for the most part and to the best of our ability, and that the license shouldn't be necessary to have or raise a child.